Everybody, Norm over here, and I've got my buddy Dillon O'Brian over here, who is one of the greatest singers, guitar players, and keyboard players I know, and he plays with my buddy Dean Parks and with George
Deering and
Steve Lindsay and David Jackson.
That's right.
And James Cruz, and they played a place called the Write-Off Room, which is the best kept secret in LA. And Michael and I have been there, and it's some of the greatest studio players that are able to get together and play live.
Right.
And Dillon does a lot of the singing, and you're mainly a keyboard player, but you play great guitar. And
I played, I sort of, I was a classically trained piano player, and my main gig is songwriter, slash reluctant producer when I have to be. But then, I learned enough guitar over the years to, get done what I need to get done. And, mainly keyboard.
but
singer, songwriter,
when you're in the studio, because you're in the studio a lot, right?
Every day.
Yeah. So the one thing that's really cool about this thing at the Write-Off Room, because very few people can do this, is they pull out a tune and surprise each other and then pass out the sheet music. And they look at it for about 3 seconds and they go 3, 4, and then they're right into the tune. And you better be a great reader to be able to do that and just on the spot. And some of the stuff is kind of intricate chord changes and stuff and voicings.
Yeah, I think it's sort of, we had this, I always wanted to do this kind of thing where you could have enough guys in a live playing situation, an informal situation, but still play some great fun arrangements from old records that we all kind of know in our head, you sort of know them from listening to them on the radio and stuff. And so many of these studio players just have spent their lifetime sort of dissecting those records. So they all kind of they came up learning off those records. So it's a challenge it's a memory challenge, and
well, it's a sight reading challenge.
It's a sight reading challenge, yeah. And sometimes we'll have arrangements written out with parts. Like one time we had I think we had a carpenter's night. We have different themes every night to try to keep it interesting.
You did Abbey Road the other night,
We did Abbey Road from beginning to end at the anniversary of Abbey Road. Just out of songbooks, just to chord songbooks, but everybody.
But they can really play. And then Doug Livingston on steel this guy is one of the greatest steel players I've ever heard.
Yeah, he's just one of the great musicians around town that's been around forever. And I met him back in the Palomino days, in the days of the Palomino Club House Band. He was one of those guys who was doing sessions back then. It's just he and J.D. Maness did most of the steel guitar sessions in town, and but Doug was a great reader because he was a great keyboard player, so he could do all the film score, TV show kind of
his
things.
voicings
Dukes
are
of Hazzard,
incredible. I've never heard anybody play steel like that. And
yeah, he
play
plays
like
Bob
a jazz
Corrals
musician.
on pedal steel. He's really an amazing musician.
Well, this tune that I talked you into reluctantly today is Richard Thompson tune.
Yeah. It's one of the songs that I can reliably sing when I first wake up. And since it's first thing in the morning, what's it, like 3 o'clock?
Yeah, this is, for a musician, this is kind of early on in the day.
But I'll try to, I'll probably end up shouting to get some of the notes out. But that's good because there's no mic. So.
There you go.
This old house is falling down round my ears. I'm drowning in a river of my tears. When all my will is gone, you hold me swaying, and I need you at the dimming of the day. You pull me like the moon pulls on the tide. You know just where I keep my better side. I see you on the street in company. Why don't you come and ease your mind with me? Now all the bonny birds have wheeled away, and I need you at the dimming of the day. And I need you at the dimming of the day.
All right, the great Dillon O'Brian and Michael Lemmo, and just throwing them in the fire early in the day. And it's the real thing here. We don't do overdubs. We don't.
I blew that chain, sir.
Yeah, if you fuck up, hey, that's just the way it is.
And that's the
But,
write-off room. That's our motto. It just goes with our motto. It's magic or tragic.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you, the thing that's cool is that they do everything from country stuff to the stylistics to Steely Dan to whatever, but some really
Standards. We do
intricate stuff.
every style. We'll ping around and do country, and next thing you know, we're doing a jazz standard. So it's like that's the fun of it. Trying to do like sort of an homage to the old Wrecking Crew guys. Just,
Well, that's kind of what it is. It's like sitting in and watching the Wrecking Crew just get their stuff together in no time, because those guys, they would record 5-6 tunes a
First
day,
take, second
and
take.
you
That's it.
just got it done. That was the only way.
Right.
So, Dillon, thank you for coming in, and
Thank
sorry
you.
that
Yeah,
I
thanks.
dropped the bomb on you, and but we love it, and hopefully we'll get you in to do one of our podcasts with George Deering and
Yeah.
maybe Dean Parks, and
Great.
maybe Steve Lindsay, who's another one of the local nuts. He's one of the greatest keyboard players that I know. He also discovered Bruno Mars
Yeah, among
and
other
produced
people, yeah.
Bruno Mars and a lot of people. So these guys are top guys, and it's fun to just be around these guys and just hear the stories and be a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Dylan, thank you.
All right,
buddy.
thanks, Norm.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Michael, good job.
I tried. I was hanging on by
Hey,
a
me too.
shoestring.
There it is. All right, Dillon O'Brian, Michael Lemmo, and me.